Get ready? What do you mean am I going to say? I think since we're doing Wolverine, I kind of like leave it kind of bushy, like as an homage to him or something like that. What? First off, I'm never ugly. No, oh, just roll the intro. Roll the intro. Welcome to Trill Theater with your host, B Shack, aka Damn. And today, doing a review of Logan. First off, excellent film. In the lineage or the storyline of all X-Men movies, Logan has to be, without question, the best one of all time. Hugh Jackman did his thing as well. I feel like he really encapsulated, or he basically embodied what people who are familiar with the comic and cartoon Wolverine, he embodied that last role of what we all wanted Wolverine to be throughout the time period. X-Men throughout times have had Wolverine spotty in certain areas. Other areas he was kitschy. I don't know. I mean, it was hit and miss a lot of times with Wolverine throughout the years, but it was never on fault of Hugh Jackman because he's an excellent actor. It was just the roles it was the way they kind of writ it up for him to be. So to see this last role, or what's supposed to be Hugh Jackman's last role of Wolverine, he did a wonderful job portraying this old man Logan version. And for those who are comic book fans who have not seen it yet, do not think this is going to be like the old man Logan. As a person who's read the old man Logan story, the only thing in common is old, but it's not the same story. I also want to give a big props to X-23, or the young lady who played X-23. I think a lot of times kid actors don't get their props because they're kid actors and they're kind of like, they're not the big name yet. And what she did in that role was superb. I mean, she embodied this whole new mutant that is looking for a belonging. I think that she basically played that well to that, because that's basically who she was. X-23 was just a mutant that was created through clonage of, and still didn't know who she was, and you could tell like she was reluctant of them at first. But I mean, I don't want to give any spoilers of the movie. I just wanted to say what I thought of her role throughout the whole, even when she wasn't speaking. Like, I feel like her presence was just excellent. As always, Professor X, my guy Patrick, he did great. I feel like a lot of people will miss it. I mean, I don't know if you miss it, but I feel like a lot of people may not remark on how funny Professor Xavier was in this film. Like, I don't feel like any other film he was that funny, but this version of the aged Professor X with a heavy heart who's suffering from an ailment that Wolverine Logan is trying to control, and also dealing with his demons of his past. Like, he was hilarious in parts that I don't think I don't think it will ever get. I don't know if it'll get remarked on. I don't know if I've not seen a lot of people remarking on it, but there was a lot of times in the theater where people were just out loud laughing at just his reaction to Logan, reaction to X-23, and I just thought it was just hilarious to actually see a kind of more infantile Professor X, but yet still one that was humorous and wasn't like kind of like a slapstick. It was more like just like your uncle or your grandfather who may not be all there, but still has these moments that are just hilarious. And I thought that was great to watch as well. Story wise, I got away from it, and I think a lot of people may have missed the subtext of when they're in the hotel and they're watching Shane, and that's the old cowboy that's on the TV show. I grew up watching westerns with my grandfather, so I know a little bit about some of them, and I had to Google afterwards because I knew which one it was, but I wasn't 100% sure. And watching Shane, if you took that movie and stripped it of all comic book like all superheroes and gave Logan a six shooter. This is a great western. It's just a story about a guy on his last romp, um, basically headed down the path of trying to defend a young person and create a path for them. So I've like I said, if you're a comic book fan, you'll love it. Even if you aren't a comic book, if you think comic books are corny, I feel like it still is a great story because you can get into it. You might want to ask some questions afterwards about certain things that you might be confused about, but I feel like even if you didn't know a thing about Wolverine and this was your first voyage into comic books, if you watch Logan, you would love it because it's just a good story. It isn't leaning on the superhero angle. It's not leaning on the superhero story. It has the aspect for those who are in it, but I feel like it's something I could take my mother to watch, and she has no interest in comic books, and she would still end up loving it. My only criticism of the movie is they never really delved into what happened to the X-Men. They kind of gave you insight into what happened to the mutants and the world in the last scene if you're paying attention, but they never really talk about what the demons Professor X is carrying. They hint toward it, but never fully kind of out. But that's not a bad thing. But it's just my only criticism because it really actually was a great movie. So what do you guys think? Did you love Logan? Have you got a chance to see it? Do you plan on seeing it this weekend? Leave your comments down below. Did you enjoy X-23, Logan? Which role did you stand out the most? Feel free to leave comments down below. As always, feel free to follow me on my other social media forums. Damn Look at Him across the board. That's Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. Facebook is Damn Look at Him TV. Feel free to connect with me. I'm always here to vibe out with you. And if you want a spoiler version of this, where we can actually discuss the plot and maybe even link up more and discuss the actual story, feel free to comment down below. Just let me know that, and I can always do any spoiler version of a review if available, if people want to see it. But as always, man, be kind to one another and be easy. Peace. I see you at the movies.